Hi everyone, welcome to Leave It to Stitches. My name is Jana Kay and this tutorial is part of Battle of the Stitches for the month of December 2025. And so I am doing a tutorial for this shawl. Let me get it set out so you can see uh, most of it. It is a shawl that I created using this stitch right here, the Parqué stitch. I did add some lacy, I call them window stitches. It's double crochet, chain two, double crochet in between the Parqué stitch sections. I did add a border. This border will not be part of the tutorial. I will put a link to the pattern uh, on the internet, on a blog for this stitch that I did for the border. It is not my own design, just the shawl itself is my design and is what I'm doing the tutorial for. If you have not seen the reveal, it is one of my short form videos, but I will put a link to it and let's get started. So before I get started with the tutorial, just a reminder, if you haven't voted, check out Teresa's project at Critters Crochet. It is linked below. It is the third Wednesday of Battle of the Stitches where everybody does their reveal, and Heather's channel at Strings and Threads. Heather's channel, in her community page, she puts up a poll for voting, but please make sure you check out their projects before you vote, and also comment so we know that you voted and can be in the running for winning the one of our three projects, the project of your choice. All right, let's get started. So I have written down for my benefit, it's all really, really messy, but if you'd like to take a picture or a screenshot of it, you can. Anyway, it is very messy, but it is for my benefit. It is not an official, well written up, tech edited pattern. So, but I do want to show you my chart up here. I will try to zoom that in when I edit, but this is the basic Parqué portion of the um, pattern in graph or chart form. Basically, we start either with a magic loop, or you can chain two and crochet into the first chain, or it would be the second chain from the hook. And the Parqué stitch consists of a single crochet, chain two row, and double crochet cluster rows, and they alternate. There is a tutorial for the Parqué stitch. Again, I did it in short form and we'll put a link here. But what I wanted you to see with this chart is that the ends of those double crochet clusters, the ends of each row are only two double crochet clusters. The middle of the shawl is three double crochet clusters, like granny clusters, but the ends are always two. That is because the increases are always done on the single crochet chain two rows. And the reason that happens is that in the two double crochet clusters, we will always do a single crochet, chain two, single crochet, where in the three double crochet clusters, you only crochet or single crochet in the middle stitch of the clusters. So that is how I did the increases, was that I ended each row, or began and ended each row with a 2 double crochet cluster so that I could single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in each of the double crochets of that cluster. Hopefully that is as clear as mud, but for those of you that can and do read charts, there you go. That is it. But we are going to get started. I am using for this tutorial, it is Papatya. It is a cake silver simla cake. Anyway, it is a really pretty pink um, ombre, pink to white, back to pink cake. It is 95% acrylic, 5% polyester. It has 590 yards on the cake, which I thought would make a great shawl. It even says one ball does a shawl. It is a DK 3-weight yarn, calls for a 4mm hook, but I am going to be using a 5mm hook because I want it to come out more lacy, more airy. And so I'm going to use a 5mm hook for that. I think I want to say I got this yarn when I was in Dubai. It is made in Turkey, but I'm pretty sure I bought it when I was in Dubai because I've never been to Turkey. So there you go. That is what I'm using. It is just yarn I had in my stash. I thought it was beautiful, pink sparkles, and would make a great shawl. So there you go. That is what I'm using. I have a little bit of some yarn barf when I took it out of the center. So there may be times that I'm pausing to straighten the yarn up as I do this tutorial. So, as I said, we can start with a magic loop or a chain 2 and work in the first chain, which would be the second chain from the hook. And the first 3 rounds are basically going to be a set up round. I am going to chain 2. And by the way, this is not really a tutorial for each stitch. I am assuming you know double crochet, single crochet. That's basically all that's in this pattern. So I may say what it is at first, but it is not a tutorial for those. So I'm going to chain 2. And I have a new setup with my camera where I'm actually sitting behind my camera looking at the screen. And so, yeah, I got a new tripod, testing it out. So hopefully it will help my tutorials look better. But you can let me know. All right, I am going to zoom it up. Hopefully, if you wanted a screenshot of my pattern, you got that. But here we go, a little bit closer. All right, so I chain 2, and I am going to go work into the first chain there right next to the knot. And the first row, you single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same stitch or that same chain. All right, so that's how we're starting out. We have a single crochet, a chain 2, and then a single crochet. So now I chain 1 when I do double crochet. So row 2 is double crochets. You are welcome to do it however you like to do it. If you want to do a stacked double crochet, which is a single crochet, then go through the left leg and do another single crochet. If you want to chain 3 and then just say that's your first double crochet, it is fine with me. But I always chain one, and then I do a double crochet as my first one. So right in that first single crochet, you do a double crochet and you do another double crochet. So as I showed on my chart, you begin and end each round with only a 2 double crochet cluster. So this round only has two single crochets from the row below. So I'm going to do 2 double crochets in the top of that single crochet, and I'm going to come over to my last single crochet, which is right there. You can see the knot right here. So I'm going to go in and do a double crochet there as well, making sure that I get both legs of that single crochet. All right, so I'm going to do 1 double crochet and do another double crochet. All right, that's the hardest part, that one right there. So now you can see that we start with the double crochet cluster and we end that row with the double crochet, or I say double because it's 2 double crochets in that cluster. All right, so I increase only on the single crochet rounds or rows. So I'm going to chain 1. Now we're going to do an increase on the sides so that it will make a triangle, like an isosceles triangle round. And it should be like a right isosceles triangle. But anyway, I'm going to, into that top of the first double crochet, I'm going to do a single crochet. And then I'm going to chain 2. And into the top of that next one, I'm going to do a single crochet. This is still part of the setup. Then I'm going to chain 2, and then we get to our last cluster. In the top of the first double crochet, I'm going to single crochet, chain 2, and in the top of the last double crochet, I am going to, and I want to make sure, because with the corner here, I want to make sure I'm getting the right one. There it is. All right, because I find my knot right there, so I go in the top of that double crochet with a single crochet. All right, so now we are, I got it backwards because I had left off that third round, so that's why round 5 comes before round 4, but it actually doesn't in the pattern. We're going to do round 4. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Again, as I said, when I do double crochets, I always chain 1, turn, and do a double crochet. So row 4, we are going to do 2 double crochets in the first single crochet because the end of the rows are always a cluster of 2 double crochets. So I do a double crochet and then a double crochet. Now, for the middle of our round, I have 2 single crochets. I have a single crochet here and a single crochet here. In the top of each of those, we're skipping our chain 2 spaces. In the tops of the single crochet, we're going to do a granny cluster, or a cluster of 3 double crochets. 1 is really hard looking through the camera. 2 and 3. All right, so there is my 3 cluster on the top of that single crochet from the round below. I have another single crochet, so there's no chains. We're just going to go straight to there and do a cluster of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, oops, and 3. All right, now the top of my last single crochet, the first single crochet and the last in each row end with only 2 double crochets. So I'm only going to put 2 double crochets in the top of that last single crochet, just like that. All right, so that is row 4. Every even round is going to be the double crochet round, the clusters. Every odd row will be your single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So round 5 is that single crochet, chain 2 row. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now, in the top of each of my double crochets from the row below, I'm going to put a single crochet because I'm increasing on the sides. So I put a single crochet, then I chain 2, and I put a single crochet. Then I chain 2. After every single crochet is a chain 2. So single crochet, chain 2. And that is a repeat. But now we are going to do it only in the middle double crochet of the clusters all the way up to the very last one. So I'm going to only put a single crochet in this middle. So you see my 3 double crochets, I'm going to only put it in the middle. So I'm going to single crochet into the middle and then chain 2. Then I'm going to jump to the next cluster, put a single crochet here in the middle and chain 2. But now I am to my last chain 2 cluster. There is no middle, which means it's going to be an increase. So, yep, time out. My yarn is, there we go, twisted. I thought there was a knot. All right, so into the top of that first double crochet, I'm going to put a single crochet, chain 2, and into the last of that double crochet. The last double crochet, I am going to put a single crochet. And that is how we are increasing our shawl so that it will get wider and wider and wider. All right, so that was 5. Now we're going to repeat 4 and 5, 4 and 5. Now I did a total of 10 if you count just the double crochet rows, but it's basically the single and the double. I did 10 rounds, and I'll show on my shawl, but let me do one more uh, round 5 and well, 4 and 5 with you. So that was 4. Round 5, you chain 1. I already did that. Nope. All right, so I chain 1 and turn, and it's a single crochet. And this is where, oh, sorry, it's a double crochet. So now I'm going to put in the first single crochet, I'm going to put only 2 double crochets in the first one. Then in every one across, every single crochet, I'm putting the 3 double crochet cluster. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, skip the chain 2, in the next single crochet put 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, in the next single crochet, skip the chain 2, put 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then in the next one, get some more yarn out, there we go, put 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. And then we make it to our last single crochet, and at the end I'm only putting 2. So put 2, 1, 2 double crochets. All right, so that at the end we have 2 double crochet, then we have 3, 3, 3, 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of granny clusters or 3 double crochet clusters, and then on this end we're back to having 2 double crochets. Now round 5 is the increase round with single crochet. So chain 1 and turn, single crochet into the first double, chain 2, single crochet into the second double, chain, chain 2. All right. Then for the 4 clusters, granny clusters, we are going to only single crochet in the top of the middle double crochet of the 3. And the yarn is getting tangled. Pull out a little more. There we go. So in the 3 here, I'm going to single crochet in the top of that double crochet, chain 2, then skip those 2, that's why you chain 2, then single crochet in the middle, top of the middle of that double crochet, chain 2, the next cluster, single crochet in the top of the middle double crochet, chain 2, and in this cluster, single crochet in the top of the middle double crochet and chain 2. And now I have made it to my last cluster with only 2 double crochets. So I single in the first one, chain 2, and single in the second one. There we go. All right. And then chain 1 and turn. So that's what we have so far. And if I count, I have double crochet here. That's 1. Double crochet here, that's 2. Double crochet here, that is 3. So I just finished row 5. So I'm going to do 4 and 5 7 more times, but you'll end with 5. And then do round 4 once more if you want 10 like me. So let me show you what that looks like. So basically that is this. This was, sorry, this was a double crochet round. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You'll end with 5. You can see that chain 2 space right there. And then you do one more round of row 4. Now, again, it's up to you. Obviously, so there is 10 rounds of the repeat. Okay, and it's actually backwards: 5 4 5 4 5 4 5 4 5 4 5 4 5 4, and then we end with 4 5 4 and then 5. So it's 9 repeats ending with a round 4. And before we get into the window section, but like I said, it's up to you. If you want to do that, that thick of a section of parquet, you can make a shorter section, do window, shorter section, window, and get more window in if you want it lacy. Nobody says you have to do 10 rounds. Here is the next set of 10 doubles. And so we started with row 4. You can see row 5 with that double crochet, the chain 2 here. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we repeated 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 9 times. And then, so there's 5. That was our 9th time, and then ended with a round 4. So that's how thick that section looks. Doesn't look quite as deep. It is, but it doesn't look it because the shawl is getting wider. And then we did another windows. And because I used a whole cake, and I can't remember, this is a 4 weight, not a 3 weight. And I think there might have only been like just over 300 yards of it. Then I was left with only 2 rounds, actually 1 repeat, and then ended with round 4. So that is up to you how many you want to do. I'm going to do a few more. I may not do 10, but I'm going to do a few more and then come back and show you how to do the window sections. Okay, I am back. I have done 7 rounds. So basically I have done 6 rounds and then added row 4. So I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, repeating round 5, and then ended with a round 4 again. So you always want to make sure before you start your window stitches at the end of your shawl, when you get it as big as you want it, that you end with round 4, which are the double crochet clusters. And again, you have 2 double crochets in this round, and it was focusing on my hand. 2 double crochets at the beginning of the round, then 3 double crochet clusters to the end of the round where you end with 2 double crochet clusters. So that's what mine is looking like so far. As I said, I've done 7. I think what I want to do is, for this shawl, is do 7 and then 3 window rounds, then 7 3 window rounds, so that I'm doing 10 rounds for the parquet and window stitches, or combined. So I am going to show you how to do the window portion, which is over here. If you did not see it before, the window portion is basically double crocheting, chain 2, double crochet. It is very similar to round 4, except that, or I should say to round 5, the single crochet rounds, except we're making double crochets. And we are going to increase in every round or every row. So Let's get started. Let me zoom a little closer. All right. So I have finished row 4, my repeat of row 4. I have chain 1, and so now I'm going to turn. So into the first double crochet, I am going to double crochet. So unlike row 5, for the window, you are double crocheting, not single crocheting. Then I'm going to chain 2 and into the second stitch of that 2 double crochet cluster, I am going to double crochet again. So there's my first window stitch. Then I'm going to chain 2, and just like row 5 where we single crocheted in the middle stitch of the cluster of 3, we are going to double crochet in the middle of the cluster of 3. Chain 2, double crochet in the middle of the cluster, and I just single crocheted. I told myself double crochet. I said that. I'm going to double crochet. There we go. Chain 2, then a double crochet in the middle, double crochet of the next cluster, chain 2, double crochet in the middle, yarn over, of the next cluster. All right, I'm going to speed this up, but we're going to repeat that. Chain 2, double crochet in the middle of each cluster of 3. Okay, I am coming up on my last cluster of 3. So I'm going to double crochet into the top of the middle double crochet of that cluster. I'm going to chain 2, and then we're going to do an increase in the 2 cluster. So I do a double crochet in the top of the first one, and then I chain 2 and do a double crochet into the top of the last double crochet. There you go. So now we have our first row of window stitches right there. There it is. All right. Now for each row, I'm going to get some more yarn out from my yarn barf ball that I still have going. It was quite a lot, as I said. Okay, so now for each window stitch, now it's up to you. You could do 1 row of window stitches. You could do 2, you could do 3, you could do 5, as many and as lacy as an area as you want it to be. I'm going to do 3, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and you want to double crochet at the top of each double crochet and chain 2 in between. So in the top of the first double crochet, I'm going to double crochet. Now, because this is the end and I told you we were going to increase on every round, I am going to double crochet, chain 2, and go back in to that same stitch with another double crochet to make a new extra window stitch so that our round increases and our shawl gets wider across. Now I chain 2, and I'm not sure that I put that in my direction. So if you did take a picture at the beginning, I may have forgotten to put this increase in. Um, so you might want to adjust it. So then you do a double crochet into the top of the next double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into the top of the next double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into the top of the next double crochet, chain 2, double crochet all the way across. And I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, I've made it to my last 2 double crochets. So I'm going to double crochet in the next to the last one, and then chain 2, and then we're going to do an increase, which means in the last one I am going to double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet back into that same stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1, turn, and because I want 3 window rounds, I'm now going to repeat that round. So we're going to do an increase. So I'm going to double crochet, chain 2, double crochet back into that same stitch, and then chain 2 and double crochet in every double crochet to the very last one. And I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I have made it to my last 2 double crochets. So in the first, I'm going to double crochet and then chain 2, and then do the increase in my last double crochet. So I'm going to double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet back into that same stitch, and then chain 1 and turn. Now we are going to count the window row as if it was the single crochet chain 2 row of our parquet stitch. Even though it's double crochets, we are going to treat it as if it is this row 5 where you single crochet, double chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, all of that. Okay, so we're actually going to start with row 4, which is good, it's in order, and we're going to repeat back again the parquet stitches, rows 4 and 5. And so I will do that with you again one more time. So for row 4, in the first stitch, you are going to do a 2 double crochet cluster. 1, 2. Then we always skip the chain 2s and we do our 3 double crochet clusters in the top of each stitch. Now row 5, it's normally single crochet, but because we're coming off of the window section, they're double crochets. So we are doing our clusters now at the top of each stitch, skipping the chain 2 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, skip the chain 2 space, 3 double crochet cluster at the top of the next stitch, 2, 3, skip the double crochet or the chain 2 space, double crochet 3, 3 cluster in the top of the next stitch. So I will leave you here to finish up this row. Skip chain 2, 3 double crochet cluster, and I'll see you at the end of this row. Okay, I'm coming up on my last 3 double crochets in this round, the last 3 stitches. So this is my last 3 double crochet cluster, and then in the very last stitch I will do 2 double crochets. All right, so that's, and I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 before I turn. So that's what it's looking like. And you can tell on the side here, when you start increasing your window stitches, they increase pretty quickly. It gets that curve, but then we're back to the parquet portion where we will only then increase on row 5, the single crochet chain 2. So we did not really increase in this row 4 that we did, but we are now on row 5. And just to remind you, I will do a little bit of that round 5. So we turn our work. Now we're back, no window stitches, we're back to single crochet chain 2. So in the first stitch, I'm going to single crochet chain 2. Now this is an increase because we usually only single crochet in the middle of the chain, the double crochet clusters of 3. But this is only at the end a 2 cluster, and we are going to single crochet with a chain 2 in between in each of the double crochets in that 2 double crochet cluster. So I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to single crochet in the top of that second double crochet. Then from here on out all the way across to the end, you chain 2 and single in the middle stitch of the chain 3, chain 3, the double crochet 3 cluster. Chain 2, single into the middle stitch of that 3 double crochet cluster, chain 2, and then in the middle of that 3 double crochet cluster. All right, I'm going to leave you there all the way at the end. Just remember, when you get to the end, you want to, in the 2 cluster, you want to single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the last stitch. And then repeat. Rows 4 and 5 always end with a row 4 before you start your window portion. And I did update, which I'll zoom out a little. I did update that section where I did not put in those increases. So if you took a picture at the beginning and that was wrong, don't look at this. This was scratch work before, but if you took a picture, then know that I have updated that section. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can always ask them in the comments below. So thank you for joining me for this tutorial. I hope you will try it out and that you will end up with a beautiful shawl. As I said on my original one, the border of my shawl, I just picked something, but actually this shawl will turn out so nice that it doesn't even really need a border, but you can always search for borders. Blanket borders work as well as shawl borders, and find one that would really look good. I'm not sure I would do a snowflake one for this yarn, this pink yarn. I just think it works so well with the other color I was doing, and in that bright blue to add some pop. But this yarn with the sparkle has a lot of pop already. So not sure what I will do when I finish this one up. But thank you for joining me. Hope this was fun. And like I said, any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will hopefully be able to answer any questions that you have. And again, don't forget, if you haven't voted, check out Teresa's project, Heather's project, and you will have till the last Wednesday in December, which is the 30th, if I'm not mistaken, the 31st. You will have till then, the 31st, to vote. So make sure, and also comment, because we don't know who has voted, so you have to comment to be in the running for the prize, which is somebody's project. All right, have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Bye.